It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you, and welcome to this elementary edition of Science Bowl. Play along and see how well you do against these 6 scholars. Let's meet them right now. First, from Baden Elementary, please say hello to Chancey Newman, Cassidy Cross, and Raven Jones. And from Cooper Lane Elementary, we welcome Vanessa Lima Lucero, Monique Jeffrey, and Alamemi Bangura. And now, here are the categories of questions we use on Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing, and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, we arrange our questions on our game board according to their difficulty, with the easier questions worth 5 and 10 points, the tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. Into the 2 rounds, one of these 2 good-looking teams will come back to play our game again. Let's make sure everything's working properly. Cassie, would you try your buzzer for me? Thank you. Good luck to you and to Raven and to Chancey. And Monique, would you try yours? All right, green team looks like it's ready to go as well. Good luck to you, to Alamemi, and to Vanessa. Are we ready?
Yes.
Let's do this. Let's have a great game. We go alphabetically B before C. So Baden and Cassie, let's start the Science Bowl. Give me a category and a number.
We'll choose Zoo Parade for 15.
Zoo Parade for 15 points. Teams, a la Jurassic Park, scientists have extracted DNA from a long-dead woolly mammoth, hoping to bring it back to life, proving that what is not forever anymore. What condition?
What is
Cooper
death?
Lane.
What is death?
More, please.
Extinction?
Extinction, that's what I want. Absolutely right. Good. Okay, Cooper Lane, you go.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Team Zuzu, the mechanical hamster that everybody wants this Christmas, it was thought that it contained too much antimony, which is a chemical that is number 51 on the periodic table of these. Cooper Lane.
What are elements?
Elements, absolutely right. The periodic table of elements, it's element number 51, symbol SB. Turned out that the Zuzu was safe. Didn't have too much of that antimony after all. Go, Monique.
Science Potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, some people buying new cars today have to go out and buy a little machine that makes fake car noises, because theirs is what kind of car that doesn't make any noise? Cooper Lane.
What is a hybrid?
A hybrid, that's right. Yes, there's no internal combustion engine, so if you're a pedestrian, you don't even know that that car is coming. Very nicely done. Go again, green.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, blue-blooded people, the so-called aristocrats, thought they were better than everyone else, but their blood is red just like ours is. They call themselves blue bloods because their skin is so pale you can see these through the skin. Baden?
Veins.
Veins, that's right, the veins on the backs of their hands. Good. Red.
Let's get physical for 5.
Physical for 5 points. Teams, we all know that 32 degrees Fahrenheit is the freezing point of water, but it is also what other point of water? Baden.
Boiling.
Not boiling, no. Cooper Lane, the freezing point of 32 degrees Fahrenheit of water is also what other point?
Sublimating point.
Good try. Melting. It's also the melting point, you know, because at that point it will start to melt as it goes up. The other way, it starts to freeze as it goes down. All right, try again, Red. 60, 80, 20 behind Baden.
Zoo Parade for 20.
Zoo Parade for 20 points. Teams the Toronto Raptors in the National Basketball Association have as their mascot a velociraptor, which is a dinosaur. But they could have chosen another mascot. Give me another raptor that could have been the mascot of that team. Okay, Cooper Lane.
What is a Tyrannosaurus Rex?
No, not a T-Rex. Good try. Give me another raptor that could have been the mascot for that team instead of the dinosaur.
Can Chancey answer?
Yeah. Chancey, what do you think?
The Velociraptor?
No, raptors are birds of prey. You could have had an eagle or a hawk or a falcon. Those are all raptorial birds. Try again, Red.
Body Systems for 5.
Body Systems for 5 points. Teams, there is a new movie called The Lovely Blank. It has nothing to do with these 206 body parts that we have, but rather it is a murdered girl looking back on her life from beyond. It's called The Lovely what, Monique?
Bones.
Bones, that's right, The Lovely Bones. Good, go. Green.
Zoo Parade for 10.
Zoo Parade for 10 points. Teams, another book called Going Bovine is all about a young boy who develops mad what disease? Baden.
Mad cow?
Mad cow disease, that's right. That's the bovine is an adjective describing cow-like characteristics. Good. Thank you, Chancey, for your help. There's 65-85. Cassidy, go.
Green Things for 5.
Green Things for 5 points. Teams, if you're trying to harvest cork from an oak, you are really barking up the wrong what? Baden?
Tree.
Tree. You're barking up the wrong tree because you can't get cork from an oak tree. You get it from a cork tree. All right. Red, please.
Zoo Parade for 5.
Zoo Parade for 5 points. Teams, Bedouins who live in Arabia call these animals ships of the desert, but they can only use them for about 6 years because after that period of time, their teeth get ground down and they can't chew. Who are these ships of the desert, Baden?
Camels.
Camels, absolutely right. The vegetation is so coarse and rough that camel dentition just doesn't last all that long. All right, the buzzer has rung. Good first round. Baden 80, Cooper Lane 85. Very competitive match. We'll be back with round 2 in just a moment. Don't go away. And welcome back to Science Bowl. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. 6 outstanding young people playing our game. Let's find out a little bit more about each one of them. Let's go first to Baden from down the southern portion of Prince George's County. And Cassie, tell us about Baden. Who's your principal?
We have an acting principal right now, Miss Danielle Goddard.
Wonderful. And the sponsor of your team, Miss Tina Murphy, has been sending us wonderful teams for many, many years. She's just a fabulous lady, and we are grateful that she's been with Science Bowl for so long. Tell us, were there any alternates on your team? I think I saw a whole group back there before.
Yes, Callie Hoffman, Bobby Etheridge, Kaylee Cross, and Kaylee Murphy.
Wow, and you remembered their last names too. I'm impressed. And of course, you told me earlier you came to every one of the practices at Baden for Science Bowl. How often did you practice?
Twice a week.
Twice a week, all right. And you all have some form of black shirt or polo shirt. Is that the school uniform?
Yes, since 2 years ago.
2 years ago, okay. Tell me what it is you like best about Baden.
Well, we have a good education, and we have, since we're in 6th grade, we're not supposed to get recess, but we at least get 15 minutes.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, you need a break, don't you? You just can't keep your nose to the grindstone the whole time. And Cassie, what do you want to do when you get older?
I want to be a lawyer because I win all of my arguments.
Oh, my goodness. And you've got that showmanship, too, that you need to be a good lawyer. You'll be great. Chancey, nice to have you here, young man who wants to play for the Washington Redskins. Can we sign you up now, Chancey? Sign on a dotted line. It looks like you got the heft that we could need right now. You like to play football in your spare time, and you like to hunt?
Yes.
What do you hunt?
Deer.
Deer. And why'd you want to be on this show?
Well, I love science overall. It's very fun to me.
Yeah, you don't have to convince me. I'm with you. I think science is great, and I'm glad you're here today. Raven, nice to have you here. You have a dog at home.
Yes.
What's your dog's name?
Ricky.
And the dog is what kind?
Cockapoo.
A cocker poodle, yeah, so it's kind of a mix, right? And you want to be a veterinarian. Do you take good care of your dog?
Yes.
I bet you do, yeah, and I can see you being very good as a professional in the medical field. What do you do in your spare time?
Well, I usually study at home, and I play with my dog all the time and stuff.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's nice to have you on our set today. Cooper Lane, nice to have you guys here today. Monique, fast start over there. Where do you come by all your science knowledge?
I study a lot. I love science. I love it.
And you've got that sophistication about you too. I love how you're playing the game here, and you keep it up in the second half. Tell us about Cooper Lane. Who's your principal?
Mrs. Wilson.
Mrs. Wilson. And the sponsor of your team? You have two sponsors.
Yes, sir. Miss Crossid and Mr. Aber.
And they are both here, and we'll bring them out in just a little while so that you can meet them. Any alternates on your team, Monique?
Yes, Justice King, Katsira Morgan, and Ozzy Uka.
Wonderful. And what's the mascot at Cooper Lane?
Cougar.
Cougar, very good. Tell us what your plans are for the future.
I either want to be a writer or a cartoonist.
Cartoonist, great. Keep up your good playing here. Vanessa, nice to have you with us today. Tell us the Vanessa story. What do you do in your spare time?
I like to play with my siblings.
Yes, and you jump rope, don't you? Yeah. Do you do double dutch? Do you do all? Nothing, no. How long have you been jumping rope?
A couple of years.
Couple of years? Why did you want to be on our show?
Miss Crossit and Mr. Bear talked with me with it.
Well, good. I'm glad that they persevered and got you to join us today. Alamemi, tell us about you. You like to play sports, I know.
Yeah.
What else do you do?
I skateboard and draw.
Yeah, and you'd like to be a professional skateboarder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as we were talking about earlier, they can make an awful lot of money. Now, the career is rather short. You know, you can't do it forever and ever, but if you're athletic, you can make some good money out there. And tell me how you come by your science knowledge.
I just like a lot of experiments that involve ice and water.
Okay.
Or something involving candy, because I also like candy.
So after you finish with the experiment, you can eat the leftover samples. I got you. You're a smart guy. All right, let's get back into our game. 85 for Cooper Lane, 80 for Baden. Nice close game. Baden, last correct answer was yours, so Cassidy, start us out.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, it seems that stainless steel somehow can take the odor of these pungent vegetables off your skin if you touch the stainless steel. What pungent vegetables are we talking about? Cooper Lane.
What are onions?
Onions, yes. Onions or garlic. We would have taken either one of those. We don't know how that works, but it seems to. All right, go green. And judges, could we flip that to the green side, please? Thank you.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15. Heart sounds like murmurs and roars and even screeches can be heard by this instrument that a doctor puts against your chest. Name that instrument for 15 points, Cooper Lane.
What is a stethoscope?
Stethoscope, and you pronounced that perfectly, too. Well done. Good. Green.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, if you were looking at someone's science fair project and you saw this statement, listen to it. Since there is a lot of liquid juice in an orange, there should be at least 50% or more water in an orange. That statement would be listed as a what? Baden?
Hypothesis.
Absolutely right. You are conjecturing. You are hypothesizing. Absolutely right. Good. Red.
Zuparade for 25.
Zuparade for 25, the big one in that category, teams. We know that crabs and lobsters and shrimp all belong to the phylum Arthropoda. They are arthropods, but they also belong to what class of hard-bodied shellfish? What class for 25 points? You could take the lead, Baden.
Crustaceans.
That's what I want to hear, crustaceans. The blue crab is the state crustacean of Maryland, in fact. All right, nicely done. Go red.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points, teams. There is a lizard in New Zealand that has been around as long as the dinosaurs, called the tuatara. It actually has a third eye on the top of its head. It is so old that scientists call it a living what? A living fossil, a relic of a past age. Try again. Red, please.
Dateline Science for 5.
Dateline for 5 points. Teams, if you fly Virgin Atlantic or Virgin America, you get on an airplane. But Richard Branson, who owns Virgin, has come out with a new airline called Virgin Galactic. Where are you going on that plane? Baden.
Space.
Outer space, absolutely right. $200,000 a ticket, and up you go, and you can float in reduced G up there. Go red.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, astronomers have found dark pumice-like stones in outer space that surprisingly have turned out to be what kind of precious stone? They just wouldn't look very good in an engagement ring. Cooper Lane.
What are diamonds?
Diamonds, absolutely right. Good, go.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, multiple choice question. The reason we human beings can't go out and grab leaves and have them for lunch is because we cannot digest which of the following sugars found in leaves: celadon, cellulite, or cellulose. Which of those three can we not digest, Cooper Lane?
Cellulose.
Cellulose, absolutely right. Words that end in OSE. Dead giveaway that it's a kind of sugar. All right. Alamami, thank you for your help on that. Go green.
Let's get physical for 15.
Let's get physical for 15 points. Again, a multiple choice question. Teams, if an earthquake occurs and seismologists are trying to figure out how strong it was, would they use the Richter scale, the Fujita scale, or the Beaufort scale? Baden.
Richter scale.
Richter scale, absolutely right. It is logarithmic. So a 2 is 10 times as strong as a 1. Go. Red. Yes, ma'am.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, mulching a used Christmas tree is good for the environment because as the tree decomposes, it releases what gas that the tree had trapped earlier? Cooper Lane.
Carbon dioxide?
Yes, ma'am. CO2. You're giving it back after it had been taken in. So it is carbon neutral. Good. 135 to 155. Close game. Cooper Lee, you have a 20-point advantage. Go, Monique.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points. Teams, the author Jane Austen, who wrote Pride and Prejudice and Emma and other classic books, no one ever could figure out how she died. Now it seems that she died of TB, which stands for what disease? TB. Yes, Cooper Lane.
Tuberculosis?
You got that right. She died of tuberculosis. They think she had consumption. Thank you, Vanessa, for jumping in there. Go, Monique.
Let's get physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, riot police are now using something called LRAD, long-range acoustical devices. It is kind of an acoustical weapon because it makes noises so loud they can reach 152 of these units. 152 of what units, Baden?
Yes. Kilometers.
Not kilometers, no. The intensity of the sound is so great it's higher than 152 of what units, Monique?
Decibels.
Decibels, absolutely right. Good. In fact, it can pierce and break eardrums, which is why it is good for riot control. All right, green again.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems, 20 points. Teams, under-functioning pituitary and thyroid glands can be remedied if the patients take what kinds of chemicals that those glands normally produce? Baden.
Hormones.
Hormones. Good answer. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Chancey. Go red.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25 points. Teams, listen carefully. Big question. Big question. The anthers that are at the top of these plant parts are where the pollen grains are actually stored. The anthers are at the top of these plant parts for 25 points. Monique.
Pistil?
Not the pistil, good try. The anthers are at the top of what plant parts? It's the place where the pollen grains are actually stored. Baden, can you tell me for 25?
The bud?
Ooh, good try. The stamens. The stamens is what we're looking for. Ooh, darn. Could have had a V8. Yeah, okay, go red.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. Team's famed oceanographer Jacques Cousteau, who explored the bottom of the ocean, did so because he took air with him. He developed something called the self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, which we have shortened to what acronym? Baden.
The sub.
Not the sub, good try. Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Jacques Cousteau's invention to take air with him down below water. We have now consolidated that as to what acronym?
Scab?
Scuba. Scuba. Scuba diving. Go red.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25 points. Teams, listen very carefully. Teenagers stop growing out of their trousers before they stop growing out of their jackets because their legs stop growing before this T-initialed region of the body. T-initialed region of the body stops growing after the legs have stopped growing.
Can you repeat the question? question?
No. Correct answer is the torso. The torso. This area here keeps growing after the legs have stopped, so you outgrow your trousers before your jacket. Try again, red. Score update, 155 Baden, 190 Cooper Lane. Cassidy, choose.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline science for 20 points, less than 2 minutes in our game. Recently, we witnessed the Geminid meteor showers, named for Gemini, which is a sign of the zodiac. It is also a group of stars, Gemini is, like all the zodiac signs, a group of stars known as a what? Known as a what, Baden?
Constellation.
Yes, ma'am, a constellation. That's what I want to hear. Go, Baden. Yes.
Science potpourri for 25.
Science potpourri for 25 points, teams. What same word means the hazy cloud that surrounds the nucleus of a comet and the deep sleep-like state that characters on a soap opera?
What is a coma?
What is a coma? That's what I want to hear. Yes, indeed. Go, green.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25 points. Teams, the jet stream on Saturn was discovered by a recent spacecraft to have 6 sides to it. What shape do we know of here on Earth that has 6 sides, Baden?
Hexagon.
A hexagon, absolutely right. One question left in the game. Dateline for 25. This is it. Listen carefully. Anton von Leeuwenhoek was a Dutch lensmaker who is credited with inventing this most recognizable piece of laboratory equipment. Baden.
Magnifying glass.
Not a magnifying glass. This most familiar of pieces of laboratory equipment was invented by Anton von Leeuwenhoek, a Dutch lensmaker. What is it?
A microscope?
A microscope is exactly what we want to hear. And that just padded their lead. What a super game. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment. Don't go away. And welcome back to Science Bowl. It came down to the very last question. That testifies to the skill we have on the panel here today. 6 outstanding scholars. I am proud of all of them, as I know you are. Our final tally today is Baden 200, Cooper Lane 235. Congratulations, Monique and Vanessa and Alamami. You did a super job today. And look at all the alternates back there as well. You could say hi to Katie Ayer and Justice and Ozzy. Thank you for being part of the team. And Miss Crossett and Mr. Abear, you did a super job. And we'll see you next time in the semifinals. And Baden, let me see some smiles here, because you were smiling the whole time. You played a super game. Chancey and Cassie and Raven, what great teamwork here. And look at all their alternates back there. Bobby and Callie and Kaylee number 2. And Miss Murphy, thank you for, again, being part of our game. You're always terrific. Thank you for watching. See you next time on Science Bowl. Bye now.